Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan battle video. In this video we are going to be taking a look at the Pan GT unit. So this is going to be a look at Pan GT, or otherwise known as Stamina to Attack Evil Pan GT, and she is obviously the latest DFE to come to DBZ Dokkan Battle Global. Very interesting unit. She's a Bond of Friendship or Dragon Ball Seekers category lead of 170%, with an additional 30% for characters who also belong to the GT Heroes category. Now the crossover of this categories aren't that great. It's basically just the Black Star Saga units, so some Super Saiyan Gokus, some Trunks and Girus, and basically Pan herself. So it's nothing too crazy, and then on the Bond of Friendship side also not too many units. Passive skills. She's got attack and defense of 150% with an additional attack and defense of 50% when attacking. She reduces damage received by 50% before attacking, and has Ki +2 plus an additional attack of 50% as the first attacker in a turn. She also has an additional attack and defense of 20% with each attack performed up to 100%, and launches an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super attack when there's a GT Heroes ally whose name includes Goku, Trunks, or Giru attacking in the same turn. Passive's very strong. Overall, she's really solid on that front. Leader skill, a bit lackluster. Passive, incredible. So, essentially, she's incredibly solid. Attack and defense of 150% is a great starting point. The 50% damage reduction before firing a super attack is fantastic. I think it's a really cool and really good way to build this unit, because of the fact that it's really going to enable her to have some great synergy, and obviously she has great defense after super, because she does raise her attack and defense of 50% when attacking, which is fantastic. Overall, her total attack and defense boost after performing 5 attacks is 525%, and 650% for her attack if she's the first attacker in the turn. In terms of her super attack effects, they're all very much the same. She just greatly raises attack when one of her units or super attack units are on the field, and she has a great chance of stunning the enemy. She also has great link skills, all in the family: Saiyan Lineage, Battlefield Diva, GT, the Innocence, Kamehameha, and Fierce Battle. And then she's also on Hybrid Saiyans, Dragon Ball Seekers, Goku's Family Youth, Kamehameha, Space Traveling Warriors, GT Heroes, Bond of Friendship, and Bond of Parent and Child. I actually think Pan has a pretty solid link set, considering the unit she is. All in the family, Saiyan Lineage, GT, Kamehameha, and Fierce Battle are actually pretty strong, pretty common links on the team she's going to be running on, and Battlefield Diva and the Innocence are kind of her flare links that she has. Overall, I think Pan's a very good unit. She has an active skill as well, which allows her to greatly raise attack temporarily, cause ultimate damage to the enemy, and within the turn activated, she has a 59% crit chance. In terms of how you want to build her, generally speaking, you want to build Pan with crit in mind anyway, because she already has a high chance of launching an additional super attack. So ideally, you kind of want to build her into that crit zone, so that she can crit on her big attack stats. If you can't really get it a crit, then you obviously want to look at maybe doing something like additionals to take advantage of her active skill. But for me personally, I think crit is the best way to go. So we've got her here on a pretty decent rotation for her right off the bat. Only 2 links active, but we do have a Giru on the team who's giving her some support as a Dragon Ball Seekers unit. She has 142,000 defense, which is a very solid starting point. Remember, she also has 50% damage reduction before she fires a super attack, and the way the 50% attack and defense when attacking works is it's multiplicative into the 142,000, so her defense ends up being around 200k after supering, which is obviously very good. So yeah, she's looking pretty solid, if I can be entirely honest. 1.8 million is a decent starting point. Obviously you'll see a lot of clips of Pan doing huge damage, and that is apparent. As you can see here, she's very much so, raises her attack quite quickly. She went from 1.8 to 2.4 million with her additional super. Pan can get to huge numbers, and she gets there pretty quickly. What a lot of people don't necessarily show is that in the beginning, not that she's terrible, but she does have like a 1-turn build-up time. That's about it, really, about 1 or 2 turns max, maybe. So yeah, generally speaking, she doesn't have a huge ramp-up time. And because of her 50% damage reduction, even in turn 1, she's still a pretty reliable unit to utilize. Because of the fact that, she's got the damage reduction, she's going to take a super attack or something beforehand that will kick in. And after she supers, she generally, especially on her first turn, has high enough defense that she'll be sitting around 250k or so. So it's obviously very solid. Now we've got her rotation where she's got a lot of links, she's got a lot of support here. So this is a very strong rotation for her. B-Pan's a great unit for her, shares a huge amount of links. Pan's now sitting at the 230k mark. We still have 3 super attacks to go before she's fully built up. We're going to activate B-Pan's skill, and then we're going to see Pan really kind of give it a go. Obviously, you want to put Pan, realistically speaking, in the first slot, but it's nice to get all her links kind of activated in this situation and really get a good look at how well she does. B-Pan's a pretty reliable mid-ish game to relative endgame pairing partner for Pan as well, which is a great thing. Like maybe red zone, certain red zone bosses you probably could, but red zone maybe a bit step too far for B-Pan, but a lot of other content, whether it's, ESBR, SBR, is very, very good for her. Especially if you pop a damage reduction item, she's a great pairing partner, and you could see she really augmented Pan's stats. She shares a couple crucial links with her, all in the family, obviously giving her some nice defense. Battlefield Diva giving some evasion and key. GT is also probably the second most important link there, with a huge attack and defense boost, and Saiyan lineage as well being very strong. So Pan shares some of the majority of the links with Pan. B-Pan shares the majority of links with Pan, and so they look pretty good overall. Obviously a pretty nice showing from Pan. The B-Pan active skill does help to augment her attack stats. We are going to try her on a Bond of Friendship team, kind of a Bond of Friendship Goku's family hybrid team, and we're going to see how well she does here. And then we're also going to take her very briefly. I will just run her through a Fighting Legend Goku event just so she can fully build up her stacks and we can see how well she does. The reason being is simply that, it takes a while for her to build up stacks, and Dokkan events aren't really events where you can build those stacks up greatly. So for me, there is a little bit of a struggle, I guess, when it comes to basically getting like all of her stats built up, basically. But yeah, to cut a long story short, Pan's a great unit. There's really not too much to say in terms of like, okay, what kind of things are wrong with Pan, because I think when you look at Pan, there's not a lot wrong on the surface, and I don't think there is a lot wrong with Pan. I think she is designed great. The idea that she has damage reduction before attacking, and when after attacking she'll have adequate raw defense to take on hard content normals. Like, yes, she will obviously, struggle in a situation where someone supers her after she fires her super attack. If Omega Shenron supers her after she fires her super attack, she's probably going to die. That's not rocket science, but Pan will probably, especially at a rainbow level, be able to handle normals, and I think for most that is probably incredible. And I think the fact that she's really solid beforehand is something that's really fantastic as well. So overall, I like Pan. I like what she brings. I like pretty much everything about her. I think she's really, really, really solid. I think the only shame with Pan is just that at the end of the day, she really, really, really kind of struggles with her leader skill. And pairing partners wise, she's not got the greatest amount of pairing partners. You know, she's got the GT Trio, who's a decent pairing partner, but not the craziest. You know, they're not like the most insane. She's got B Pan, who's pretty good. She's got Xeno Pan, who is also pretty solid. Problem being is Xeno Pan is only really able to pair with her on Goku's family team, which is fine, but it, you know, it is something to be aware of. Then she has Ent Kid Goku, also a decent unit. She's got AGL Kid Gohan. Both are decent options, but they don't activate any of her passive. So she won't get the greatly raising attack. She won't get the high chance of an additional. Obviously, it's not a major issue in the sense that it's not going to completely throw everything she does down the drain. She's still excellent without those, but it will affect how she works. I feel like as a unit, she's not gimped enough by not having a Giru, a Goku, a Trunks, etc. on her rotation, and I think that's a good thing. She loses the greatly raising attack, which is not a huge problem. She loses the high chance to stun to a medium, which isn't great, but is only really something that's subjective in ESBR and SBR. And she loses the chance of an additional attack. That is a big loss, but I think for the most part it's not a terrible hindrance. It's going to affect a 55% or a single dupe pan more than it's going to affect a pan that's not, at that stage. In terms of everything else, I think she's great. There are some interesting EZAs coming down the line. If you look at Bulla, for example, Bulla's a great unit. Doesn't activate any of her passive, but shares 4 links with her, so that's also something that's very good. And yeah, just there are some, I would say, very interesting units. I think Pan's good. She can sit on GT heroes really well. She may not share a lot of links with units, but I think you would still probably want to use her just due to her, because of her just raw power. Like, I think that's kind of where Pan is. She just has such an impressive amount of raw power that I think she's a unit you could be excited to use a lot of the time. So yeah, I think Pan's great. We're going to take a look at her now. So this next situation, she's fully built up her stacks. She's going to have B-Pan's active skill. She got support on the rotation. It's basically a best case scenario for her. So this is under that Goku's Family Bond, the friendship team. She got 300,000 defense, which is fantastic. Fully built up. This is 55%. She's going to have that 50% damage reduction beforehand. Also very, very good. And then we're going to see how much damage she does. We're going to activate the active skill, and we're going to see how things go. The only thing we're missing is obviously the friend active skill, or sorry, super attack effect, and the additional super. But we wouldn't see that anyway, because she's going to obviously kill Goku in one go. But 7 million, really, really good. So yeah, at 55%, 7 million, fully built up B-Pan active skill. That's not her own active skill as well, which is obviously something that would be very, very powerful. So yeah, now just to kind of talk about her linking. So yeah, in terms of her links, she's got Battlefield Diva, which obviously we've spoken about. She has Kamehameha, the Innocence, All in the Family, Saiyan Lineage, GT, and Fierce Battle. Battlefield Diva is kind of more a Pepe Gals link, which always makes it a bit weird to stick on Pan, because she can't be on Pepe Gals because she's a child, I guess. Not that I guess she's a child, I guess that's the criteria. The thing is it's still an okay link, because obviously she shares it with other Pan or Pan variants, Bulla, etc., Bulmas, or Dragon Ball Seeker units. Then she's got Kamehameha, very common link, especially on Goku's family. So she's well covered there. Bond the parent and child, the Kamehameha category it also gives to her. Space traveling warriors, hybrid Saiyans, ton of them will have, those type of things. Then we have the Innocence, which is more a youth kind of thing, but it's relatively effective on youth or hybrid Saiyans, somewhat effective on Dragon Ball Seekers as well. And then you've got obviously All in the Family, which is mainly a Goku's family link, and you've got Saiyan Lineage, which is something that's fairly strong and common on hybrid Saiyans. And then you've got GT, which is obviously a major link for any unit that wants to run on GT heroes, basically. So overall, her link set's pretty strong. It's a little bit varied, but it's strong. She's got enough to work on each category she's on, and I think that's really what you look for in a unit like this. In terms of link leveling, All in the Family, defense 20%, pretty solid. Kamehameha, attack of 10% when performing a super attack. The Innocence 15%, Saiyan Lineage 2 key, attack and defense of 5%. Battlefield Diva 3 key, 5% evasion. GT, attack and defense of 10% with 2 key. And Fierce Battle, attack of 20%. So that's all at max level. Is she worth link leveling? Yeah, she gains quite a bit of defense from link leveling, 20%. She also gains a fair amount of attack, and that's because GT as a link is very powerful, just in general. So GT as a link, then you've got Battlefield Diva as well, All in the Family, fairly common. Fierce Battle, obviously, Kamehameha. You've got a lot to work with. She'll gain a lot of attack, and she will actually gain a respectable amount of defense as well. So for me, from my perspective, I would say 100% you should consider link leveling her. In terms of equipment, pretty much stock standard stuff. Go for crit. If you're very happy with your crit amount, then go for additional. Don't go for an attack or defense. She doesn't really need it. Yes, she will die to a super from a type disadvantage after she takes or fires a super attack. But at the end of the day, that's a very rare scenario, and for that to happen is just something that, you know, it can cause any unit issues. 500 defense is not going to solve that problem. So yeah, but that's it from me. Hope you enjoyed the video, and bye.